Hey, it's your boy George B. Thomas, and today we're going to talk about collaboration. We're going to talk about teams, and we're going to talk about workflows and all of those things together so that you can collaborate with your team better when you're creating those important, might I say vital, HubSpot workflows. Hey, you know what time it is. That's right, today is all about workflows. And you know what? Sometimes workflows can be complex, but you can simplify the complex with great collaboration, getting all the great minds of your company together to work on this type of thing. So how can we actually do that? Well, we're going to talk about 4 really great ways that you can amp the collaboration of your workflow. So without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. So the first tip actually starts before we even get into a workflow, and that is being able to make sure that you set your workflow up for your team. So you can click this little checkbox to the left of any workflow, and you can see that you can assign it to a team. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and assign to team, and we're going to look for Sprocket Talk. And we'll hit assign. But of course, to do that, it means that you have to have teams set up. So make sure that you've taken the time to do teams, roles, and permissions inside of HubSpot as well. Think about the process. Who needs to see what, who needs to work on what, and set up those teams. Now, without further ado, you know what time it is. Tip number 2. And the second thing on better team collaboration is adding a comment. That's right, you can add a comment to any workflow action, even if then branches allow you to add this comment. Now, adding a comment is super easy. You can simply hit the add comment and then start typing away. And of course, you can notice over here that we even have emojis that we can hit and add emojis if we want to our workflow description. Now, one thing I wish, and maybe it's coming in the future, is that we could mention other team members. Now, it's at this point I wonder if anybody from HubSpot is watching, because if somebody from HubSpot is watching, please add this feature. @mentions would be super cool. Anyway, let's dig back in. As you can see, nothing happens when I do an @Remington to bring Remington Bag into this comment. But maybe that's coming in the future. At least now what you can do is leave this comment by hitting save, and the rest of the team will be able to come in and add another comment or be able to read your comment. At least we have the ability to leave comments in the workflow actions. And again, maybe in the future that @mention functionality will appear, but until then, you're gonna have to use Slack or email or some other type of communication to let your team member know that you've added a comment. Or when you go into workflows, just see if there's comments, because it's gonna speed up your process amazingly more. But with that said, let's go ahead and talk about collaboration, and you know what time it is. Is that over the top? Tip number 3. Now, the third thing for team collaboration that many times is overlooked is you can come up here to the more section and you can add a description, because what we want to be able to do is allow other team members, new hires, anybody who comes into any of our workflows to be able to, in a second, or at least maybe a minute or a fraction of a minute, be able to understand what the workflow is supposed to do. So you can see here in this case, the ability to track Go Premium page visits with no conversion of known people. So you know immediately this is what the workflow is about. And I know what you're thinking right now. That's a lot of collaboration. These 3 things are going to dramatically change the way that I work with my teams and workflows. But wait, there's more. That's right. Tip number 4. And it's new and a little bit hidden. Again, under the More tab here, we're going to go to Export. What this allows you to do is export your workflow. That's right. This action will download an image onto your computer. And note, larger workflows may have decreased image quality. That's because it's trying to compress everything in. But the thing to know here is you're going to be able to hit export, and it's going to give you an image that you can then send to team members who actually aren't even in HubSpot. So you can see I have an image here that now we can mark up, we can print it out, we can do whatever we want to do to collaborate with folks who aren't even on our team in HubSpot. So there you go, 4 amazing ways that you can have better collaboration with your HubSpot workflows and your teams. Make sure you're leveraging the descriptions, make sure you're creating those comments, make sure you're exporting out the image when you need to, and of course, make sure you're assigning to the teams, the people who need to be the ones collaborating on that workflow. Hey, all of these tips are going to help you make better workflows, which will help you make a better experience, which will help you delight your prospects, leads, and customers, which is what this whole inbound marketing, sales, and service game is about. Hey, remember, until the next video, make sure you're focused on being a happy, helpful, humble human. And of course, along the way, let's do some happy HubSpotting together.